The housing market has always played a powerful role in shaping the economy, but in 2025, it has become a silent pressure point for entrepreneurs around the world. Housing prices are surging in cities where businesses thrive. Rents are skyrocketing even in areas that were once considered affordable. And as this crisis unfolds, business owners are faced with a tough, often underestimated decision. Should they rent or should they buy? The wrong choice could quietly derail their finances, their focus, and their freedom to grow. For entrepreneurs, housing is more than just a personal matter. It is a business decision. Where you live influences your operational costs, your daily energy, and the strategic direction of your company. If your rent is unstable, your stress levels rise. If your mortgage ties up too much capital, your business cash flow suffers. Many first-time founders underestimate the impact of housing on their bottom line. They separate personal finance from business decisions, only to realize later that the two are deeply connected. Globally, housing shortages are hitting cities that attract ambitious entrepreneurs. Major startup hubs like San Francisco, London, Toronto, Berlin, and Sydney are experiencing double-digit annual rent hikes. Buying property in these locations is often out of reach, requiring massive down payments and exposing owners to long-term debt at higher interest rates. These cities offer opportunity, but at a steep price. The dream of building a business while owning a home in a thriving urban center is becoming more difficult to achieve. At the same time, inflation has impacted mortgage markets. Central banks have raised interest rates to combat inflation, and that has made borrowing far more expensive. Even those who qualify for a mortgage are now facing monthly payments that are significantly higher than they would have been a few years ago. In many cases, the cost of owning is now equal to or even higher than renting. This shift has created new confusion. Buying is no longer the obvious sign of financial progress. You might be thinking, does it really matter whether I rent or buy if I am focused on building my company? The answer is yes. Choosing the wrong housing strategy can tie up your capital, create emotional instability, or even limit your flexibility to relocate when better opportunities arise. Entrepreneurs thrive on momentum. Anything that creates friction, whether financial or mental, needs to be carefully evaluated. Housing is one of those quiet sources of friction that can slowly drain your energy and ambition. And in some cases, renting actually frees up capital that you can reinvest in marketing, hiring, or scaling your product. But renting is not without its drawbacks. When you rent, you have little control over annual increases. Landlords can raise the rent, change the terms, or even ask you to vacate. You are also not building equity. Every rent payment is money you will never see again. Over 5 or 10 years, that can amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. In cities where property values are rising fast, renters may feel like they are being left behind, locked out of wealth creation, while others benefit from appreciation. Buying, on the other hand, offers stability. A fixed-rate mortgage creates predictable housing costs. Owning a home can also offer psychological security, especially during uncertain times. For entrepreneurs with families, that stability can become a strong foundation for building a business. Homeownership can also serve as an asset, something you can borrow against in the future to fund expansion or cover unexpected costs. If you buy in an emerging market, property appreciation can significantly improve your net worth. However, the risks are real. Buying a house requires a large upfront investment. Down payments, closing costs, legal fees, and renovations can drain your cash reserves. And for entrepreneurs, liquidity is oxygen. Tying up your capital in a house could limit your ability to respond to business challenges. If your company hits a rough patch, that mortgage payment becomes a liability. You may also find yourself stuck in a location that no longer serves your business needs. Unlike renting, selling a home is slow, costly, and uncertain. At this point, let us pause and consider a deeper truth. The global housing crisis is not just about prices. It is about control. Entrepreneurs crave control over their time, their money, and their outcomes. But when housing becomes unaffordable, it strips away that control. It forces hard trade-offs. It creates mental clutter. It adds pressure to perform, not out of purpose, but out of survival. That is why this conversation matters. It is not only about finances. It is about freedom. So what should an entrepreneur do in 2025? The answer depends on a few key variables. First, assess your business stage. If your business is still fragile or pre-revenue, renting is almost always the wiser choice. Flexibility will help you survive and adapt. Second, look at your cash flow. Do you have enough cushion to cover a mortgage while still funding growth? If not, owning a home may put unnecessary strain on your company. Third, consider geography. Some cities are dramatically overpriced, while others are undervalued but growing fast. Look for rising tech hubs, emerging digital nomad centers, or secondary cities with strong infrastructure and a growing business ecosystem. In places like Austin, Lisbon, Medellin, and Tbilisi, the cost of ownership may be more favorable and still offer access to talent and investors. Sometimes, the best business decision is to leave your current city and build somewhere smarter. Fourth, evaluate interest rates. If mortgage rates are high, buying locks you into a long-term cost that may not make sense right now. But if rates are expected to fall and you can afford to wait, renting may offer a better path while keeping you nimble. Timing the market perfectly is impossible, but understanding rate trends and working with a trusted advisor can help you make smarter decisions. There is also the hybrid option. Co-living and live workspaces. Many entrepreneurs are now seeking creative solutions that combine the benefits of renting with the energy of a startup ecosystem. Co-living arrangements offer furnished spaces, built-in networking, and short-term flexibility. In some cases, they include co-working access events and startup support. While not for everyone, these models can reduce both financial pressure and isolation. Another key consideration is your psychological makeup. Are you someone who thrives on certainty? Then the stability of owning a home might give you peace of mind. Are you someone who values freedom and experimentation? Then renting or relocating every year might energize you. Your housing strategy should reflect your entrepreneurial identity, not just market data. The goal is not to follow what others are doing. It is to design your life for optimal performance. For couples or founders with families, the equation becomes even more nuanced. Stability for children, access to good schools, and community support may outweigh the financial arguments. In that case, the cost of ownership may be justified not by ROI, but by quality of life. Just be sure that the business can support the lifestyle, or you may end up resenting the very dream you are trying to build. At the end of the day, the global housing crisis is forcing entrepreneurs to make more strategic and sometimes uncomfortable decisions. Rent or buy is no longer a simple financial formula. It is a holistic question, one that involves risk tolerance, cash flow, emotional bandwidth, long-term vision, and even geopolitical awareness. Because where you live and how you choose to live will either accelerate your business or weigh it down. If you want your business to grow, start by controlling your environment, your housing costs, your living conditions, your mental energy. They all feed into your business performance. Make this decision wisely. Think about where you want to be in 5 years. Do not make short-term choices based on fear or pressure. Make long-term moves that support both your mission and your well-being. If this breakdown helped clarify your thinking, the next video covers the best cities in the world for entrepreneurs in 2025, places where housing, cost of living, tax policy, and startup culture all work in your favor. Because in this economy, success is not just about what you build. It is also about where you build it.